Welcome to another 5-star edition of Props to Consider and Then Maybe Bet. I am your host. I am the paragon of virtue. I am Lou Betya, joined for UFC 305 by an authentic Australian. Long overdue collaboration with my guy from the Discord streets with VB and the boys, Aussie Fight Fan. Thanks for joining me on the card. I appreciate it. I know you and you're in the future, which is nice. So you should already know who's going to, you're 14 hours ahead. So you should already know who's going to win. But how you doing? How you feeling about this card? Did you enjoy Deng Ming last night?
Yeah, no, Deng Ming, no. He let me down big time. You knew watching it, that bloke he was fighting, Hamed, what was his name? It doesn't matter because we're never going to need to remember it. He's never coming back. If anything, Ming might get a short notice fight, not that other bloke. But yeah, terrible fight. But yeah, I mean, he was out there fouling his ass off too. So yeah, I'm sure you were enjoying it.
Well, that's why I make content. It's fights like that. So let me tell. So for the people watching this, obviously this is a unique time zone for this show. Thank you guys for being online. We appreciate it. Another caveat that my co-host is aware of today. They're going to cut the power in my neighborhood. We don't know. Could be an hour, could be 10 minutes. I am dressed for once. I'm going to run across the street and continue the show. If I have to go offline for 3 minutes, Aussie's going to tell that joke he knows. We're going to be all right. So just letting you guys know that's the score. But let's get into it. Please, if you could, hit the like, subscribe to the new channel. Monk and I doing all sorts of weird shit. And we're happy to have you guys. So, Mr. Fight Fan, what is your first prop to consider and then maybe bet for UFC 305?
Yeah, if we're looking at this early in the card, you like to get up a big prop, know that your night's pretty secure, and hopefully you get in and out pretty early. Yeah, it's kind of square. I think everybody is probably gonna be on the same prop, but it's Jenkins round 2 KO. I mean Burns is just. I mean, he's got 5 minutes, maybe 4 minutes of cardio. A lot of his win equity is in that first 4 minutes. And if he doesn't get it done, I mean, a stiff breeze will knock him over, So, yeah, give me Jenkins round 2 KO at plus 230. But I also have another one on this fight, which is a bit crazy. If you're looking for something a bit bigger, it's Burns sub 1. I mean, this guy, 15-1, that should be his money line, in my opinion. Like, all his win equity is tied up in that round 1 submission. He could take Jenkins down, take his back, get something off. He could. Like, no one's going to be like horribly surprised. Like, nobody thinks that Jenkins is really going to overpower him on the mat in the jiu-jitsu. It's Jenkins going to have a lot of leg kicks, fight from distance, probably land some really good strikes every time it's in close. But if it does hit the mat, and you're holding that massive, what is it, minus 800 Jenkins tickets, you're going to be clinched up pretty tight. So yeah, I think the Burns sub round 1, they're given a 6% chance. I think it's a lot better than the 6%. Resembles in the prop bet there. So yeah, I mean, you can turn a minus 600 into a plus 600 into a plus 1500. It's not that exciting, but I mean, I think if he does win, it's that 1500 is going to cash. I'd be more surprised if it doesn't.
I mean, Jenkins hurt himself posting against Chepe Mariscal on a takedown. Like, there's no reason he can't get injured on a Burns takedown. No, I wrote the red. That's how I knew it was 1500 without looking it up. I was looking at it yesterday, and I'm like, that's 100% of his win equity. It feels like, and he's not knocking Jenkins out. And like my guy, Big Steve, had a funny thing he said about this. He goes, it's the man of 1,000 cuts in Jack Jenkins versus the man you only need to cut twice in Herbert Burns. So Burns can get to him early. Like, I mean, I love that play. And the round 2 is like, in a weird way, that feels like Jenkins' money line. Like, if he doesn't win in round 2, just cut him at this point. Because, I'm an Algeo guy, and Algier not a big finisher, and just all he had to do was be in the cage, and Burns was good. So,
yeah.
All right, let me see what I want to get to. I'll save those two for the end because they're your countrymen. So I'll leave them be. One of my weird strong plays of the week is Luana Santos.
Okay.
I don't know. The more I looked into it, the more I like the Santos side. Santos submission is plus 550. Not playing around here. Just the sub is 550. I think Casey O'Neill she got away with being really aggressive against lower level opponents. You know, people like to say she's building in the second round, the third round. The reality is, I think she's so so super aggro that some of these opponents like Procopio and Shevchenko, like they just wilted under, okay, she just keeps coming. As she's gone up in competition, like the Maya fight, the first round, the second round, and the third round played out exactly the same way. There were no adjustments. She never got close to getting the fight on the ground. So I don't know. She seemed like she couldn't deal with any kind of a game plan change. And then against Lipsky, I mean, I don't know. She just didn't look right. So I don't know if she's just not improving. I don't know if it's a mental thing. You know, I worry about Santos' the short notice nature of the fight, taking a big flight over. But yeah, I'm up, dude. By the way, I don't sleep. This isn't about being up early. I just don't sleep. It's more that than anything else. But I think Santos can get this fight to the ground. And I just think she's better everywhere. If this thing hits round 3, maybe I'll worry a little bit about Santos. I do think the cardio concerns are a little overblown. I know she didn't look right in the third round against Stephanie Egger. It's a short notice fight. It's a catch weight. You know, I'm not really super concerned about that. I don't really like Casey O'Neill at all. I think Santos can get her down and get her out of there. So at plus 550, I like the play. And on a card where you just gave out plus 275 Jenkins, like they're getting sharper with some of these round props. So
yeah,
I got to go a little bit against the grain. So Santos sub 550 for me. It's my first prop. What do you got next, sir?
Yeah, so going next, this is another crazy one. I'm positive no one else is on this. This is Reyes to win in round 1. I know he's only fought twice in 6 years. He lost both of them. But, you know, Nolan, he could be really good. Maybe he just got caught in that first, what was it, against Mota, was it? Where he got knocked out as a big favorite. Then against Charlie Campbell in his second fight, he got dropped in round 1 again. I mean, that's 2 fights, been dropped twice in the first round in his 2 fights so far. Maybe he's got a Shannon Ross chin, who knows? But going here against Reyes, I mean, Reyes, he's got one chance, man. Let's get it out of here in round 1. And he's won 11 of his 13 fights in the first round. Just given that and what we don't know about Nolan's chin yet, I mean, can he find it? Can he crack it? And what happens if he does? Reyes, round 1 is plus 2,000. They're giving it a 3% chance on the money prop there. I think if this played out 100 times, I think he wins in round 1 more than 3 out of 100. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit of value there. I mean, again, this is plus 600. Turning that into a plus 2,000. I don't think it hits, but, you know, if you give me stupid odds, I'll make stupid bets. And, you know, plus 2,000, I'm not saying put a unit on it, but maybe just enough to win a unit. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy at all.
This is financial advice. This is we're supposed to say it's not, but this is financial.
Do what you got to do. Borrow money. Do whatever you got to do to get this bet on.
I know you love the same game parlays for these cards. And this isn't on my list, but I was talking about this with Dogfather. What about Nolan to get dropped in the first and then still win? Because he got dropped last fight too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he could he could get knocked down in round 1 and still win in round 1, you know. So you could even do fight doesn't start round 3 and that would still, you know, cash and bump it up.
I mean, I know Reyes isn't like active, but it doesn't look like it. Like Nolan when he got knocked down, it wasn't even like the best, most powerful shot in the world. Like, I'm with you. Maybe, I don't know, the Reyes might be worth a shot. God, you're going to make me bet that, aren't you? I mean, the money line's ridiculous. Like this whole, Oh yeah, this comes at the end. And look, I brought up at the beginning of the show, Dixon. We're coming off Meng Ding last night, so I am very optimistic. It means they're still calling point deductions. Unfortunately, it means you have to kick somebody in the sack, like maybe, well, I don't know if the one was in the balls, but at least 3 times to get a point. But all right, let's get to. I'm going to cover the co-main event on this one, and I'm going to just stick with the submission props, and I'm going to go Steve Erceg submission at plus 550. So it's a good fight. Little money's coming in on Kai France. On the feet, I mean, I know Kai France has some power. Erceg's durable. I think it's pretty close, and Erceg hasn't shown this as much on the UFC level, but in a lot of his regional tape, like at Eternal, he gets knockdowns, or if he doesn't like what's going on, he gets like a lot of club and subs. Like that's kind of his thing. He doesn't proactively grapple to get submissions, but if he gets somebody on the ground, that's when he starts hunting for a neck. And I think that there's a path of least resistance here. What I worry about is, this is why I haven't even bet the money line yet. You know, look, he's coming off like a super close competitive decision to Pantoja. You don't know. Mentally, he seems all right, but you never know what a guy's going to do after getting to that point in the UFC, losing. Like, how do they rebound? So I think Erceg with a win here, a finish is probably right back in contention. I think you could easily sell a Pantoja Erceg rematch with how competitive it was. So if he's going to win by finish, I don't think it's a KO. I think he has to get Kai France down. And if anybody wants to point to Kai France like defending against Askarov doesn't have any striking. Like there was no threat on the feet. So keep his hands low and just defend every takedown. He can't do that against Erceg. Erceg does have a really good left too. So Kai France got to mind his P's and Q's. Again, like the Santos sub, plus 550 for a guy who I think has a very pronounced grappling advantage feels like a dumb line for me. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys are. Who's Australia going to root for in this fight? Got to root for Erceg.
Oh no, it's Erceg. It's Erceg. Yeah, by a mile.
I figured Kai France kind of. I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on why.
He's from New Zealand.
He's also like just unlikable. I feel like there's something unlikable. All right, what do you got for us for the third one before we get to the main event?
Yeah, so Tai Tuivasa, round 1 KO. For the crowd, for the culture, plus 400 is just crazy. It makes no sense to me. I'm going to drop a decent bet on that. He doesn't have to worry about takedowns. He doesn't have to worry about getting clinched. He's going to be put in positions where he's going to be throwing them haymakers. He's got thunderous leg kicks, man. Like his leg kicks, I mean, kick for kick, he might have one of the hardest leg kicks in the game. So, yeah, give me Tai, round 1 KO. I'm hoping he can land a couple of leg kicks, give something for Rosen to think about other than the big power punches. And then he just gets to throw them hams, man. Knocks him out, jumping on the cage, rubbing his belly, doing a shoey, crowd just going crazy, women losing their mind. Yeah, he's going to give the crowd what they want. Tai KO 1, let's go.
You're going to hate my next prop then.
Oh,
and not because I'm picking Rosen. Far from it. I am going to make a bet where I'm going to have to clench my cheeks for 5 minutes and play fight starts round 2 there. But that's not the prop I'm giving out. I like almost everything he said. I agree with almost everything he said. Tuivasa round 2, round 3 KO is plus 700. And like,
yeah.
Everything you said, like for the breakdown, like, yes, he's not like, you look at his 4-fight losing streak. He's not worried about getting taken down here. Rosenstrike isn't some immediate, like, fast starter like Pavlovich is. And Gon is just fast with starting in and out.
Yeah.
I think this is the stylistic. This is a good fight for Tuivasa style. I think the money line's off. I think it should be way closer to a pick 'em. The reason I'm giving out round 2, round 3 KO is I wonder if Tuivasa, coming off all these losses, maybe he just spends the first round going for leg kicks, darting in and out, staying out of range, like don't die in the first round. And I think Tuivasa's power carries pretty well. You saw it in the Lewis fight, even in the Gon fight. Like the only reason he started fading was all those body shots finally started taking a toll on him. Like his cardio was fine. It was just, you get hit in the stomach 30, 40 times in 2 rounds. Like, I don't care who you are. it's going to sap you. So we're both on the Tuivasa KO, just a little different. So if I can't win my bet, I sure hope you do, man.
Yeah, look, I might even jump onto like just maybe I'll just add some KO to my KO one bet.
So you said KO one was 400.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing it at.
Let me see what, and you don't have FanDuel, but I wouldn't think. But
no, I don't. But I've got enough books that replicate the American books over here. So
okay, this thing's not loading. But I was gonna. Here we go. I want to see what 1-2 is. I'm just curious now. It's not even loading. This book is terrible. If anybody in chat can, he said he's got 500. That's going to be for round 1 KO. So I wonder what the round 1, round 2 is. But if this goes a distance, it's going to be a lot of unhappy people. But I will say that under, I see people hammering that under, and like I get it, but
Tuivasa round 3 is 1,600. So
I know it's insanity. They both do carry power well, but all right. Well, let's get to the main event. We got the war. I actually be careful what I have to say here. It is early in the morning. We got DDP versus Adesanya. This line, a lot of steam coming in on the DuPlessis side. It's now a pick 'em essentially, minus 110 each. I'll go first in this one since you've been going first on everything. I've gone back and forth this one in terms of that. Full disclosure, I am not an Adesanya fan. Like, I can't stand the guy. DuPlessis is a slow starter, and Adesanya, if he wants to come out as like war Adesanya, could be very terrifying early in this fight. I think DuPlessis is still very hittable. But all that being said, he showed in the Strickland fight that he's not too proud to go for takedowns in good spots. And more importantly, the way he went for takedowns against Strickland, it wasn't even like he was going for takedowns to win minutes and ground control. It's almost like he did it just to disrupt his rhythm. Like he got him down, half-hearted effort to get his back, get him right back up. But Strickland never really got into boxing flow. And yeah, this is what I worry about is like if Izzy comes out war Izzy. Look, this is going to sound like a weird comparison, Aussie, but on this, months ago we had Cyril Gane against John Jones. And I, in my infinite wisdom, picked Cyril Gane and gave all the reasons. And then in hindsight, you're like, wait, I could have bet John Jones at almost even money. Like, what the fuck was I doing? And I wonder if this is the kind of scenario where you're like, we're getting one of the greatest to ever do it at minus 110. How do I not bet it? So I'm nervous for reasons, but I'm going right back to the submission well, man. DuPlessis submission is plus 520. He's plus 525. A guy who's going to have a tremendous grappling edge. And unlike Strickland, who I think has underrated wrestling and good get-ups, Adesanya has never shown me he has good get-ups. So I think if DuPlessis... And this whole, like, DuPlessis has bad cardio thing, his cardio looked pretty good against Strickland. Like, and he was grappling. Looked pretty good in that fight against... So I don't think cardio is a big concern here for me. Unless Izzy is just keep kicking all day and working the body, but that's not really his style either. He's going to be head hunting here. So I think his cardio can hold up. I think if he goes for takedowns, he can hold him down. If there's going to be a lot of grappling, I have to look at the submission prop. And I don't know, man, over 5-1, I'm going to jump on it. What do you like for this?
Man, that's funny. I got the same thing. I'm limited on some of the books here in Australia, but Ladbrokes have limited me, but they haven't limited me to the same game parlays. And one of these parlays they let me do today was fight doesn't go the distance, fight ends in sub, Drickus by sub, and that was plus 850. So it's pretty much just Drickus by sub. That's all that has to happen. But you put all those extra layers like fight doesn't go the distance and all that kind of nonsense, and they let me bet them. So, yeah, I got the same bet. But another one I was going to put on as well, same game multi, hasn't hit yet, but hasn't no odds for this. But when it does come in, I'm confident in this one. So it'll be Izzy most significant strikes because I figure he's going to land the most strikes on the feet, probably a lot of jabs and a lot of leg kicks. But Drickus most strikes. And you add to that Dricus most takedowns and Dricus decision, and I think you're going to get 50-1 or something crazy like that. That's what these have been going off at lately. As long as you can mix and match the significant strikes with the most strikes. I think if Dricus gets the most strikes, it's probably because he does get takedowns, a lot of those little punches to the ribs and little shots to the head from turtle guard. They don't really count them as significant. So I think there's a good chance for that to hit. So I'll definitely be taking that as well. But yeah, the Dricus sub, I also had a little look at that today, and I just had to play it. You can still get the odds at Ladbrokes at 9-1 or plus 800. So that's widely available, but it's not going to be there for long. That's going to get bet down pretty quick once people realize it's there. So yeah, I like Dricus sub as well.
Yeah, it's 550 on FanDuel. I'm seeing 525 a lot of other books. So yeah, I mean, do you have are you personally rooting for anybody, or you just don't care?
Oh no, look, I got some Adesanya to be champion at the end of the year at plus 800. I got that back in January. I figured he'd get a title shot, probably only have to fight once. So hopefully he doesn't win here and then get a quick turnaround fight.
I mean, I would imagine I would imagine he's not fighting the rest of the year.
Yeah. So I don't feel like I really got to play his money line here because I've already got that, and I'm thinking, as long as if Dricus wins, hopefully it's by sub and not decision or KO, because then I don't get paid on either of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe this same game multi or same game parlay hits, and we can cash pretty big on something.
That's a good look on that same game parlay. I like it. Well, we've gotten to my favorite part of the show. My favorite part of every show. It's time for the Yambag special. Guys, if you watch it for the first time, Yambag special, we're talking about a point deduction. It doesn't have to be a shot to the balls. It's just funnier that way, like last night, like Meng Ding, my hero. But we're talking about a fight with a point deduction. So, Aussie, what do you like and why for a potential point deduction on this card?
Okay, let me just find it. Yeah. Okay, so point deduction, my favorite one for the card. Junior Tafa to lose a point for grabbing the cage, man. He's going to be grabbing the shit out of that cage, and I don't blame him. He's going to be terrified every second that Walter Walker has a hold of him. He's a big guy, 6'6", cuts to 265. You do not want to be under that guy. He's going to be grabbing that cage for the life of him. So give me the Yambag special on that point deduction for grabbing the cage.
Well, now I got to come up with another one because that's the one I wrote down too. And for the exact same reasons that you said it, like it's low-level heavyweight. I mean, Walker looks better. Like, I don't know if his cardio is going to be an issue, but I definitely don't trust Tafa's cardio. And I mean, should I even give one? I don't know. That's the one I liked. I actually thought about doing one in the main event just because of how much they hate each other. But they would be very, very hesitant to take a point in that fight. I think outside of like murder, nobody's taking a point in the DDP Adesanya fight. The only other fight that really like spoke to me here. So do you know one of my rules when I look at these things is, oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy coming to chat. He's, he can't let, he's got an investment in you this week. Guys, if you haven't already, go check out VB and Aussie on VB MMA's channel, breaking down these fights. Aussie was good. He doesn't break VB on air like I do. Like I'm not even there to break down fights. I'm there to just break him and make him like lose his train of thought on air. But go check that out, guys. The Ricky Glenn and Song Kanan fight was my backup, I guess, if I'm looking at this. It's Southpaw versus Orthodox. I also don't know why the fight's happening. I don't know. I mean, Glenn moving up. Look, he's not going on a title run. If he's just fighting out his contract, maybe it's best for him to move up. He doesn't have to kill himself making weight cuts. I mean, I don't love his cardio. I don't love the nature of him flying so far for this fight. I don't understand why this fight's happening. There's probably not going to be any grappling in it, but open stances, they do lead to more dick shots. So if I have to give a backup, it's going to be Kenan Glenn. But it's Tafa Walker for me is like the one that stood out on this card as the best. So
what do you get from Lou Bet? 20 to 1, is it, for a point deduction?
Yeah,
What do you...
DraftKings has it. There's a couple other BetMGM has it. It's only never been 20 to 1. Like there's very few occasions it's not 20 to 1. Like Greg Hardy fought Tybura and it was like 18 to 1 because they're like, yeah, he's gonna cheat. He just didn't have time to cheat.
Yeah,
but
I've seen in Australia we used to have them. You could bet on a timeout, and they were going at like 8 to 1 on a timeout, and you just bet it automatically every fight.
Just any ref stoppage, just any stoppage for any reason,
any timeout for any reason.
Like the mouth guard comes out.
Yeah. If they call time, stop the clock. Yeah, it was only there for about 5, maybe 4 or 5 events, but it was a good earner while it was there. But now even I think the point deduction now is like 12 to 1 and just unplayable. But
especially because they're not calling them anymore. Like
that's right.
I mean, you have to like shoot somebody with a harpoon at this point to get it to lose a point, and even that might just be a warning. Depending on if it's Herzog, he's like, "Hey, enough of that."
Yeah, and it would go on and on and on and on again. Yeah, one other thing I did like was Herbert Burns by DQ. I think if Jack Jenkins does anything wrong in that fight, Herbert Burns is not getting up. He's not getting up. What happened last time? He said it was it his brother? He's carrying him out. Gilbert Burns carrying him out of the cage. Was it a groin shot? I can't remember what it was. But an eye poke, a groin shot, anything. Back of the head. No, maybe it was punches to the back of the head. Anything. He's not coming back, man. That DQ is live.
I mean, I don't know if you are aware of my relationship with Cody Brundage over the last couple of years, but
we've got a similar one.
Yeah, he the Malkoon fight, people DM me like I'm the one that did this. They're like, dude, you fucking suck, man. I'm like, I'm just a guy behind a computer, man. Like, I'm not in the cage. But then in that fight against Al Hassan, I had like, dude, that was my biggest bet of the year was the under. Like I had a substantial bet on that under, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, don't you dare. Like, I want it to be a DQ for my bet, but at the same time, I'm like, don't you dare DQ this guy, man. Like, don't do this. So we all got screwed on that. Culibao Ramos, that's interesting. It could be interesting if Ramos just doesn't want to be there after the first.
Yeah.
But like, do you see a lot of grappling in this one? I would see some early. I don't know. I think as the fight goes on, maybe just Culibao standing up. But
I do. That was another one another prop I was going to give out was Ramos sub, because even without the takedowns, what he does, if you watch all his fights, he's really good at getting the back, even standing. From the clinch, he'll work his way to the back really fast. Just a lot of his fights, he just hasn't got it because he hasn't been able to get that second hook in. He's not great at getting the hooks in, but that was another prop I was looking at was the Ramos sub. But I know a lot of people out there think he's a quitter, so maybe that's what VB was saying to the DQ. Maybe, maybe not the Yan bags, maybe the DQ.
Justin seems to think that you can answer every question involving Australians. I feel like maybe he's never heard of the country until today. I don't know, but
yeah, Foster's. It was our main beer for a long time, probably 20 years, 30 years, but we don't even see it on the shelves anymore.
Yeah, that's like people that Budweiser. It's not good, It's probably that and Miller Lite are America's beer. What's up, Covert? How you doing, bro? All right. Well, we covered it all, man. We made it efficient. Chat was popping for an 8 a.m. show on the East Coast. I love that. Aussie, you want to promote anything? Tell the people where to find you, other than VB's show this week?
Yeah, VB show, of course. We do spaces on our own channel, UF Combat 1. Follow me, Aussie Fight Fan. We're just getting started. It's me, Danny, Jay, and Colin Crandall, and we're just kind of getting this thing up and running. I've done a lot of fighter interviews, things like that. Setting up our YouTube channel, so you can follow us on YouTube, UF Combat 1. And we do spaces a couple times a week, breakdowns, and Kind of after post weigh-ins and stuff like that. So yeah, follow us on Twitter to join the spaces, and everyone's welcome, and it's always a good time.
You guys still doing the spaces like late Friday night? Well, it'll be Saturday morning for you, I guess. You still doing the Saturday morning spaces, day of the fights?
Yeah, so Saturday spaces, and then we've been doing one on Tuesday, so I guess Monday for you guys. Just kind of going through a breakdown and news, fights to make, things like that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I've been in there a few times. I think it was like the Jake Paul, and we're trying to cap. Was it Jake Paul, or it might have been a capper fight? I'm like, just tell me what the odds are for this capper fight, and I can leave. But that's a good list to it, those guys. I'll be back tomorrow night with the happy hour with my guy Monk, and then just if you're watching this Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, be the same time every week. The first of 38 Premier League soccer breakdown shows. It'll be very quick shows with all my footy for the weekend, and I hope to see you there. And guys, protect your bags, and I will see you next week. Take care.